Okay, it's all said.
Yeah, it's not.
Maharaj, the book is here.
Yeah, you'll have to read the book.
You're going to read from here?
Yeah, today's Vijnanam. Good. Om Sthapakaya Dharmash Sarvadharmasarupine Avatar Varishthaya Ram Krishnaya Te Namaha. So today is auspicious two ways. It's Ras Purnima, the Purnima full moon night of Rasa. Rasa is sweetness, Rasa is love, Rasa is joy. So that play of the divine play of Krishna happened this night, if it is Ras Purnima today. We can recall that at least every day is Ras Purnima day, but if we can recall that. So we hear that the Krishna played a flute at the middle of the night. And suddenly that flute was heard by few extremely devoted souls. They are called the gopis. And they responded to that call. It is called many are called, but few are chosen. No? That call goes on all the time in the history. Ramakrishna gave a call, climbing on the music tower, no music hall, in the second floor of the building, and called, "Come, come, ye." Christ said, "Come, ye, I, who are tormented in the life's journey, I'll give you shelter." So it seems that is the same repetition, but it started with Krishna being prior to others. But it was a play of love, and the love is a supreme love. That call from the higher realm of our real self comes to the lower self. So when the call came, as we read the Bhagavad, we find that reached their heart and reached their ear, touched their heart, and they're pulled like, do not know why. Whoever doing whatever activity in their home front, someone is taking care of a baby, forgot the baby, ran. Someone is serving, maybe ailing mother-in-law, father-in-law, boom, give up and ran. And all are running towards one center, but no one knows who is why you're running, what, no question. All are rushing. That's the call of Sri Krishna. And then to meet that, you have to renounce everything. It is a big philosophy behind, and if it is a story, it is a reality. But still, if we say as a story, we have to take it seriously. When the call of God comes, then we should be ready to give up everything. God, of course, God is calling all the time, but we ignore that call. We have different calls. Other phone calls are very important rather than God's phone call. So we don't respond. But there are few responders. That is the gopis. Few responders. 16 disciples of Ramakrishna. That they call the inner circle people. Why inner circle? That the courage and spirit to renounce everything and dedicate their life for God, Lord Krishna. That is in this age, Ramakrishna. So gopis are so pure-hearted that they could not resist themselves into their normal duties of life. And so all the big Gyanananda today birthday, he was a district engineer. In those days, district engineer is a big position, no? highly educated person of the then society, but could not resist the call of Ramakrishna. And that's why we get this Ramakrishna movement. This Ramakrishna order came as the Gopi movement, created all the devotional school of Indian traditions, particularly the Krishna and related to Krishna, all the ages together, that connection with the Lord, an irresistible call which forces one to give up all other responsibilities, duties, and all duties become secondary to this greater call. So it didn't stop, and that's why we are reading today Swami Bigyanananda Maharaj, who have responded to that call and was a brilliant star in our order. He became the president of our order, third president, no? Third. Brahmananda, Shivananda, Akhandananda, and Vijnananda, fourth president. So that we like to read their life to get inspiration so that we can also respond to the call of God, who is calling all the time in the sitting here. He's waiting for us all day. Hey, come, come. But we are busy. We are all turning towards the other duties and responsibilities, not to the duties and responsibility for our real nature or divine nature or self, we call God. Sri Ramakrishna is a spiritual phenomenon, and his spirituality manifested in his spiritual longing and samadhi, in his singing and dancing, in his conversation and stories, in his actions and behaviors, and even in his fun and frivolities. Many people consider Ramakrishna to be an avatar. Now, needless to say, people would be surprised if they saw Ramakrishna wrestling with a young man in his room at Dakshineshwar temple garden. Ramakrishna, we know that he's a Samadhi person, but he became a wrestler, seeing Swami Bigyanananda. Bigyanananda is a good wrestler. In those days, wrestling and other physical feats, they used to do all this. But he was seeing Bigyanananda Maharaj, a young man, Ramakrishna got inspired to wrestle with him. So that's why he says, but it is not unusual for the disciples of Ramakrishna to have an ordinary situation turn into an extraordinary experience through the influence of the Master. It is amazing to see how the Master transmitted the spiritual power to his disciple even in a playful way. Swami Bigyanananda vividly narrated one of the dramatic and unconventional encounters with Ramakrishna. So, what happened, you know? Seeing him, and he started come and started wrestling. And Bigyanananda says, he's a young man. So he pushed him into the wall. And then, but suddenly he felt that his all power is going away. So let us read what he felt. I felt Sri Ramakrishna's room vibrating with a tangible atmosphere of peace. And the devotees even seemed to be listening in blissful absorption to the word that poured from Master's lips. I don't recall what he said, but I experienced tremendous joy within. That is the rasa. Rasa means rasa. Rasa means sweetness. Sweetness means honey. Honey means nectar. So that is he felt the nectar, he felt the joy, unspeakable joy in presence of Sri Ramakrishna entering into the room. I sat there for a long time. My whole attention concentrated on Sri Ramakrishna. He did not say anything to me, nor did I ask him anything. So, no verbal communication, but entering into Sri Ramakrishna's vicinity, floating in joy. Gopis also went to in front of Krishna and they're floating in ecstatic joy. That's why the dance, we hear the dance with Krishna. Each one is dancing, each one feeling Krishna is dancing with her. That's very important. Each one present in front of Ramakrishna feeling fulfilled and full of bliss. So then one by one, the devotees took their leave And suddenly I found myself alone. The master was looking at me intently. I thought it was time for me to depart. So I prostrated before him. As I stood up to go, he asked, "Can you wrestle? Come, let me see how well you wrestle." With these words, he stood up and ready to grapple with me. I was surprised at this challenge. I thought to myself, what kind of holy man is this? But he replied, "Yes, of course I can wrestle." Sri Ramakrishna came closer, but I was strong, muscular, young man, and I pushed him back to the wall. He was still smiling and holding me with a strong grip. Gradually, I felt a sort of electrical current coming out of his hands and entering into me. Wow, see, that is the transformation. Spirituality, Swami Vivekananda said, is a tangible thing. It can be given as we give a gift, solid gift. So spirituality can be transmitted. It is not talk. The Ramakrishna stands for the proof that religion is realization. And it can be handed over, like giving one gift to another. Who? By these powerful people like them. Swami Brahmananda followed that. Bigyanananda himself did that for others in later period of his life. I lost all my physical strength. I went into ecstasy. And the hair of my body stood on end. Wow, the joy, thrill of joy all over the body. Ramakrishna is transmitting something, holding the hand in the name of wrestling with him, is transmitting all the spiritual energy which is awakening. Huh? Swami Bigyanananda said that that happened also in later period. He went to see Holy Mother, and Holy Mother in Bagbazar. He was in the second floor, and he as he Bigyanananda Maharaj entered into the ground floor, just entered into the steps inside, and he said that I felt my lotus of my heart is all bloomed up. No? So these are extraordinary spiritual capacity of spiritual people to transmit their energy like that. Releasing me, I went into ecstasy, and my hair of my body stood on end. Releasing me, the master said with a smile, "Well, you are the winner." With those words, he sat down on his cot again. I was speechless. Wave after wave of bliss engulfed me and my whole being. I was pondering the fact that the master had not won physically, but his spiritual power had completely subdued me. Some time passed, then the master got up from his seat. Patting me gently on my back, he said, "Come here often. It is not enough to come once." Then he offered me some sweets and prasad, and I returned to Calcutta. For days, the spell of that intoxicating joy lingered, and I realized that he had transmitted spiritual power to me. What a great eh, start being with Ram. And that is we are all expecting. Our spiritual journey should not end in talk, not in initiation mantra diksha, but to have this experience. Thrill of joy will flow through our body and mind. Hair will stand erect. Hey, then you can say that, oh, where is Ramakrishna to give us? Ramakrishna is still now waiting for us. If we are open to that, that means we have to be like them. As the gopis forgot their all other duties to come to that state of mind, it needs much spiritual practice. And Ramakrishna came, and Ramakrishna's disciples are the old gopis. They're coming back and back again to play this role. So this is gopis are not some woman, and Krishna is not some man. It's a question of the love of the supreme self with the lower self. And this connection is always there. And God's pull is always, He's pulling. But we have to get ready for that, prepare, ready for that. Ramakrishna later said of Swami Vijnanananda that Ramakrishna, he wrestled with Krishna in his previous incarnation. When he was born as Krishna, Ramakrishna said that this Vijnanananda was with him in Krishna Lila when he was born in previous incarnation as Krishna. That's why it is said God comes again and again. But he does not come alone. He brings his warriors who will fight for him, who will establish his spiritual discipline in the society. No, that's why this time in Ramakrishna incarnation, Swami Sarvadevanananda and Ramakrishnananda. What he said? There's a Rishi Krishna. That's what Ramakrishna said. He was Christ companion. He selected. When Christ came, these two people came to assist him. So he's very selective from there, two people, and one for who? This Vijnanananda Maharaj what? Rama, sir.
Yeah, with Rama.
Rama, na? Hanumanji, or what? I do not know. Eh?
Jambal. The bear, Jambal.
Oh.
He's a bear.
Anyhow, so
Jambal.
Jamba.
Jambal.
okay.
Yeah, one of the companions of Rama.
Rama.
Help build the bridge.
Uh-huh.
No, he reminded Hanuman of his powers
And
that he had forgotten.
Oh,
And he could wrestle.
Yeah, he could.
he could wrestle.
Yeah, he was-
So Vijnanananda wrestled with Krishna. He says,
Yeah.
This Jambavan
Jamba.
was also the engineer that built
And the engineer who built the bridge.
oh yes, the engineer. See
Yeah.
how we can come to that conclusion. See how everything matches. Ramakrishna said, what is your name? The boy said, my name is Rakhal. Ramakrishna said, even the name. Rakhal was the Krishna in Krishna Lila. So he was his playmate. And when he first saw it, before Rakhal's coming, he saw that in the lotus of the Ganges, the full bloom lotus, and the boy is dancing, no? And that boy entered into Ramakrishna's room. He's married, but married boy came with his brother-in-law. Brother-in-law brought his sister and son-in-law, who is Rakhal. And Ramakrishna seeing at the very first, I said, oh, what is your name? Rakhal. And he was astonished. Oh, the Rakhal, everything matches now. That means all previous connection. And thank you for reminding us that he is Jambuvan, and Jambuvan is the chief engineer of constructing the bridge between Ceylon and what is Rameshwaram, no? And remnant of that is still available, no? There is a railroad, no? I heard some certain part of the
Say from satellite imaging, you can see
the underground,
some bridge was there.
even here satellites imaging. They see the bridges there, some of the in the bottom of this. So the engineer, and that in engineering, what he did, Belur Math. What is under his Belur Mandir? Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda designed, gave the idea of the all Indian architecture, what he has traveled all over the world. He brought all these ideas of different religious temples and churches and mosques and all this, and then put it into one paradigm. And he has suggested, do this, do that. And Vijnanananda Swami designed that entire, and he supervised it. He supervised even that story we know. He's engineer all through, because he was a district engineer in those days. And he joined little later because he has to maintain the brother disciples. he has no money, he used to send out of his job, he used to send some money monthly, some donation to the Baranagar monastery and others to maintain their expenses. So it is for the Lord's work also. And then he was, that story goes on, he was supervising the embankment of the Belur Math. In front of Swami Vivekananda's room, it was previously it is a deep slope and it goes to the Ganga. So it was needed that they should build up some embankment all through that. But that time money was very limited. So Swami Vijnananda Maharaj, Swamiji said that, can you prepare a embankment? Raja, he called Brahmananda Maharaj and said, hey, can you do that? How much money is needed? He said, okay, let me ask Vijnananda. So he went to ask Vijnananda. Vijnananda know that it will be more expense, but to let the work start. So he gave some figure which is much under the estimate, a real expenditure. And then, and the construction is going on, but is not completed by that amount is spent. When it came to that knowledge, then Swami Vivekananda became furious. And Vivekananda saw that situation and ran away. But poor Brahmananda, he was standing there, he got all this scolding that you people, this, that, and he scolded him so severely that Brahmananda Swami felt like a child. He went to bed and he was weeping. And then Vivekananda was looking from a distance, but seeing him, where is, go and call Brahmananda to come back. Go and check what he is doing. So he saw that his door is locked. He said, door is closed. Well, no, go and see. Then he went there and found Brahmananda like a baby, weeping, putting his head on the pillow and full of tears and thinking, my God, what did I do? I didn't do anything. And I am being scolded in such a severe way. And then hearing that, Swami Vivekananda came back and said, brother, that was the good story. Brother, you are Ramakrishna's spiritual son. And he used to take care of you and give you so much sweets and makhan, butter, sweets and all these delicious things. And he used to love you so much. I have scolded you, so I am not fit to stay in this monastery. So I am going. So you take care of the monastery. I am nobody. I am going. Suddenly he got up. He said, where are you going? No, 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 no. You are our elder brother. Ramakrishna gave you the responsibility for all of us. So you have to correct ourselves. I was not doing rightly. So you stay, I go away. So both are going away, then embraced, and things ended there. But there we find that she was supervising that embankment. And there is another story. It was hot summer. In those, contractors are not there. We have no money to give to contractors. Who used to supervise? I used to supervise many buildings in Belur. Yeah. With umbrella in the head, standing for hours in the sun, we're working with the mason and other things, seeing the construction is correct or not. Anyhow, so, and poor guy in the hot summer, Vijnananda Maharaj is a big body, it's only a roof, holding the umbrella on the top, and Swamiji got up from his noon rest, and with ice cube, one juice, maybe some lemonade juice or some squeezing the lemon, something they have prepared, and gave it to Swamiji. Swamiji drank the entire cup, entire glass, and the drop last, maybe not even one sip, few drops are there. Then he asked somebody, go and give it to Vijnananda. Give it to Peshan. Peshan was his nickname. So give it to Peshan. And he was holding the, sweating in the hot summer, looking at and because they are very limited time is necessary to undo the embankment because it's tide, low tide, high tide issue is there. Before the high tide comes, you have to finish that low tide period to do the construction as much as you can, and then you stop it. Anyhow, and he said that empty glass, somebody carried it, the empty glass, and he said that, my God, Swamiji is having fun with me. He is drinking the ice cold juice there in his room and sending me in the hot summer empty glass to drink. Okay, he has sent, so let me take drink. And one or two drops touched his tongue. He felt his ambrosio. It is like a honey. It is like unbelievably, it is satisfying. And he felt the blessings of Swami Vivekananda that way. So this is very touchy stories are there, and how he dedicated his life for the Ramakrishna's work, and the entire supervision planning is given to Martin Byrne Company in Calcutta that time. Now also that company is there. I do not know, a very famous company. But the construction was supervised by Swami Vivekananda. And by that time he also become president. And then that was the last time when the present temple in Belur Math, many of you have visited. Many of you visited Belur Math temple. That was inaugurated in 1938. And Swami Vivekananda Swami saying, please do quickly. I want to finish. I want to see that it is inaugurated before, because he is feeling to leave the body also by that time. So, and then quickly it was finished anyway. And at the day of inauguration, what he saw, the Swamiji came and all other, Baburam Maharaj and others, all they're visiting and they're blessing inauguration time. So that is the way the Belur last work, that was his last work, to have that Belur Math temple inauguration. So his life, we have another few minutes. I will read from life at random here and there. Vivekananda, his name was pre-monastic name Hariprasanna Chattopadhyay. 30th October is 1868. He was born and in Uttar Pradesh. His father was Taraknath, worked in the British government. And then from his childhood, Hariprasanna had a religious temperament, tremendous passion for truth. So once he was about 14 or so, his mother falsely accused him of something and scolded him. He protested vehemently, and when he failed to convince his mother of his innocence, he tore off his sacred thread and cried out, if I tell a lie, I am not a Brahmin. So the mother, Nukuleswari, was taken aback and became afraid. And strangely enough, the very next day, a cable from Afghanistan brought the news of his father's death. His mother's grief-stricken said to Hariprasanna, see the result of your curse. That's what you say, you can say that it is some incident happened of his truthfulness and honesty. Meeting with Ramakrishna, Hariprasanna was only 7 years old when he first saw Ramakrishna, a boy of 7 years. I first saw Ramakrishna in 1875 in Belgorия. The master came to Keshav Sen. I was playing with my friends and just by chance saw the master there. At that time, the path of garden house was covered with red brick dust. Many people came. The master was seated in a room, and seeing him, I returned to my home nearby. Second time, Hariprasanna saw Ramakrishna was immersed in Samadhi in Govinda Mukherjee's house in Belgorия. He later described the scene, a young man, Narendra, how he saw Ramakrishna. That day, I saw Vivekananda also first time. A young man, said Narendra, was singing devotional song, Jaya Jaya Dayamaya, victory to the compassionate Lord. Sri Ramakrishna standing in the center of the group, and another young man, Baburam, was holding him so that he could not fall. The master was completely oblivious of his surrounding. He wore a white cloth, his face shone with a heavenly luster, and a smile played on his lips. His teeth were visible, and there was such a joyful expression on his face that it seemed as if it would crack like a cracked melon. Cracked melon, you know the melon, white melon, when it bursts out, it is called Puti Phata Ananda. Bengali people will enjoy the word. Puti means melon, white melon. When it ripens to the full, Phata, it breaks. That's why they tie with the leaf, melon leaf, no? And then that means Ramakrishna's joy, outbursting joy. When bursting out in joy and radiant everywhere. So that is the type of expression. His teeth were visible, and there was such a joyful expression that it would be like a cracked melon. His eyes seemed to be gazing at something, and he appeared to be immersed in the ocean of bliss. So this is a very good description. You can read it and imagine Ramakrishna when in Samadhi, how it happens, how his look, how his eyes are open as it were. In the photograph also we see it is open, but where is the inner mind gone? Sometimes we also do. We're looking at something, thinking something else. If you do that, somebody say, hey, where is your mind? So Sri Ramakrishna is looking at, but he is not there. He's gazing something else in his mystic vision. Another thing that struck me has remained imprinted in my memory forever. From the base of Master's spine right up to his head, energy that rose upward towards the brain seemed to be spreading its hood and swaying its head like a snake dancing in joy. How he felt, I do not know. Spiritual energy, Kundalini power, we hear about that. Everyone says, I have some Kundalini experience. But I am really, I do not know, we have not tested anything. But anyhow, Ramakrishna's Kundalini awaken means what? Here is the point. That from the base of Master's spine, Kundalini power, the base of it, right up to his head, the whole column had become inflated. That means they say the spinal it expands when that spiritual energy, that's why the description is inflated like a thick rope. Who understands all these things? Have happened anyone? Now many people say that they have their Kundalini awakening. Is it not? Did you not hear? I heard. But this is the Ramakrishna's happening. Whether this is the same experience with them, I do not know. But anyhow, be careful. Up to his head, the whole column had become inflated like a thick rope, and the energy that rose up towards the brain seemed to be spreading its hood like a snake. You see, Kundalini power, we call it, is considered like a snake, no? Ramakrishna's thing happening, the scripture and Ramakrishna's experience, how tallies, match these things. They're not superficially reading, but if you just go to the depth, we hear that Kundalini is the coiled up snake. Is it not Kundalini? Kundala. Kundala means coiled. Coiled up. The snake is coiled up. That means sleeping snake, they coil up. Here's it, when it's awakened, it goes up and with the hood open. Jagaran. When you strike the snake charmers, when they come, they open their basket. Did you see in this country? Now in India we saw. Here you saw. No. But in India, the snake charmers used to come and play, and they'll get some few dollars, or few money, and then they'll open up one hood and then strike. And the snake was coiled up. That means open its hood. So the similarly, Kundalini Shakti, the power which is inside, it wakes up and it moves in this zigzag way and over the head, holding like that. That is the expression. Swami Bigyanananda describing that experience, he felt that way. He experienced that way. Maybe others may not, because it needs a purity of the heart to see, to reach that level of perfection, to see this, what is happening in Sri Ramakrishna, and he is visualizing that experience. 1883, Hariprashanna entered in St. Xavier's College in Calcutta, and Sarat Chakraborty, which is Saradananda, and Ramananda Chattopadhyay, who became the editor of Pravasi, were his classmates. And on 26 November, he and Saradananda, went by boat to see Ramakrishna in Dakshineshwar with another classmate. Arriving afternoon, they saw Master briefly as he was about to leave in Calcutta. However, the Master invited him to come to their residence, and so they returned to Calcutta by boat. Hariprashanna attended the festival at his house and returned home late that evening. He later described what has happened. My mother scolded me when she heard that I gone to Ramakrishna. The Ramakrishna's popular name was cracked brain, no? Or Pagol. So he said, my goodness, mother said, my goodness, you went to that crazy Brahmin? He has deranged the brains of 350 young men. Meaning, innumerable people, he has deranged the mindset. Worldly mind to Godward. So it's impractical. He does not think of the world. He is telling them to become spiritual and meditate. See, you went to that crazy guy. Quote ends. It was indeed mental derangement. Even now, my brain is hot. Bigyanananda says, yes, really, Ramakrishna is indeed a mentally he's doing the mental derangement for all of us, no? Even now, my brain is hot. I did not pay any attention to my mother's scolding. Mother scolded. Early days, mothers could scold in India. Dad also can give some slaps, but not here. Now, during his college days, Hariprashanna visited Ramakrishna several times at Dakshineshwar temple. He later related those wonderful reminiscences to some of the devotees. On Krishna's birthday, Hariprashanna went to see the master at Dakshineshwar, and that evening he described to spend the night there. He recalled his experience. So he went to Krishna Janmashtami, Krishna's birthday, and he describes that experience. Sometimes later, the master gave me some luchi, fried bread, you know, luchi, and sweets, which were the divine man's prasad. Sri Ramakrishna made a bed for me and set up the mosquito curtain. He himself is taking care of his future children, so making the bed and making the mosquito curtain. At midnight, I woke up and found the master walking around my bed and saying, Mother, Mother. I was dumbfounded and could not understand what was going on. The night Sri Ramakrishna blessed me. So that is the way he is protecting his children from other worldliness. Master's disciples felt an irresistible attraction for his guru. It is the magnetic attraction. Ramakrishna said, we can feel the attraction, but cannot because our mind is not pure. He gave the example of the magnet and what? Iron filing, no? Needle. When it's coated with dust and dirt or clay. Because the attraction, magnet is here and the We are the magnetic particle, we are also here, but no feeling, no attraction until that dust and dirt of the mind is clean. So he says, Master's disciple used to feel the Krishna and Radha, how they used to feel. They cannot keep themselves arrested in worldly duties anymore. Ah, that's why when they meet Krishna, then Krishna says, hey, why are you all ladies here at the middle of the night? You have no duties of your home. Go back to your home. The beautiful statement is in the Bhagavat. Bhagavat says, then the gopis replied, what? You are a very funny guy. You are playing the flute. And now we are here giving up all everything. I come to you. And now you see show our duty. What is our duty? You are Paramatman. So you are our duty. To serve you is our duty. All other duties are secondary. That's a very, the gopis are not illiterate ladies, only milking the cow and doing all this chore work, but they are the rishis of the past life, all like these people, this type of people coming again and again. So they can feel the attraction. That's a love for God, how intense it may be, can be felt. In Ramakrishna's life, it happened, no? Gaurima, the story of Gaurima. Gaurima felt that he is feeling restless whole night, and someone is pulling. Where she does not know. The Balaram was then in the morning time, his sister. So he said, sister, will you go to Dakshineshwar? And she agreed. And then he was going in a horse carriage. And but she was feeling that someone is pulling her heart. And funny thing, when they reached Dakshineshwar and entered into the room of Ramakrishna, Ramakrishna was just winding up some rope. And then as soon as she entered the door, she said, left it. And she felt her pull is gone. Now pull is gone. How miraculous things. It's a vivid expression of the love for God. It is the call in the heart, pull in the heart. And that changes their whole character. Giving up every responsibility, all duties become secondary, prime duty becomes God. So that is the thing here, irresistible attraction. They learn more by observing his exemplary life and listening to his talks than from books. So Hari Prasanna described another night's experience. What is that? Hari Prasanna, Vijnananda says in his own word, one evening I went to Dakshineshwar and expressed to the master my desire to stay overnight. He gladly gave me his consent. There is no suitable eating arrangement at night in Dakshineshwar. There is no cooking arrangement. Every night, some prasad of the Divine Mother would be sent to the master for his supper, and from that he would eat a little and distribute the remainder among those who stayed with him. The master's night meal was very small, like a bird's food. A little farina pudding and some sweets. When I saw the small quantity of prasad, I was upset. He was a big guy, you know. I realized that I would have to fast that night. I was then young, with a well-built body and a large appetite. That little bit of prasad was not enough for me. Knowing what is in my mind, the master asked somebody, bring some chapatis, flattened bread, and vegetable curry for me from the Nahabat. Nahabat means go to Holy Mother. Order comes at odd time. And then she will have to do all the chapatis and curries, no? Even that amount of food was not sufficient for me. But I ate it and lay down on the floor in the master's room. At midnight, I suddenly woke up and saw master pacing back and forth in his room. Sometimes he would go to the front of the veranda, muttering something, or would chant the name of God and goddesses while clapping his hands. During the day, the master talked and joked with the devotees, but now at night, he was quite different. I was scared to death. I lay in bed, quietly observing the master's madness. I could not get back to sleep. Sometimes the master sang and danced, and sometimes he talked with someone. At last, the night passed, and I was relieved. The morning, the master was normal again. When I returned home, my sister asked, "Where did you stay last night?" "At the temple of Dakshineshwar," I replied. Immediately, she explained, "Did you stay with that mad Brahmin of Dakshineshwar? Don't go that man again. He's really mad. I go there very often to bathe in the Ganges. I have seen him and I know about his madness." I listened to her words and smiled. So this is the one example how Vijnananda is not going to go to Dakshineshwar to sleep. He could not sleep. And Ramakrishna is what a life? We have dual life. Normally, all the holy people, most of the holy people, so-called holy people, to show the face before you, I am a great Swami. And in my private life, I do whatever I do. But Ramakrishna is an exception. What he does daytime, he does more intensely. So he's forgetful about what he's doing, intoxicated in God. Whole night, could you think that whole day, his room, could you imagine? A man can live that way. How much we think about privacy? We need a bathroom, we need a room, it's my private room and no one should come. I need my time and space. That is the language we use in this country or even in India now. And Ramakrishna's room, the Dakshineshwar room, day and night open. Two bed is there. How, when he sleeps, I do not know. People are coming at random. This door is open, anyone comes. "Hello, sir, how are you? Tell me, how can I realize God?" Hare, give him the rest. So no time whole day. And whole night, we'll think that now he's tired and he'll take rest. He's more ecstatic in God and clapping hands and dancing in the name of God, muttering to you like a mad guy. In Hollywood Boulevard, you come, or Hollywood, you'll find many people are muttering to themselves and with hand gesture, posture, and fighting like that. So Ramakrishna is like that. Why not the sister of Hariprasanna will tell that you went to that mad guy, I know him, and I saw him. How mad is that guy? Yeah. So yes, to the outside people, he will appear mad because he does not behave like us. But Ramakrishna said, no, what is the sign of a holy man? He sometimes becomes like a madman, behaves like a mad, unusual behavior, sometimes smiling, sometimes dancing, sometimes cooling. So that, but it's God intoxication. So that is our heritage. We should read more of this type of life rather than life. Philosophy is good. That's why Swami Shivananda, I end with this word, Shivananda, Swami Shraddhananda went to him and he has asked, "What are you studying? What are you doing? What are you doing?" He said, "I am in Belghoria." He was joined in Belghoria. He said, "What are you doing?" "I am reading some Upanishad." "Upanishad? What Upanishad?" "Chandogya." He said, "What? Can you read our life?" Our life is Upanishad. Ramakrishna's disciples' life are Upanishad because pregnant with spirituality. And Ramakrishna is the epitome of all. Thank you. Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om Tat Sat, Sri Ramakrishnaarpanamastu. Oh, end stream.